I have been informed by Patrick that I was on mute. Well, let me try that again.
There we go.
Let me try that again. Welcome to the Heroes Hot Seat, episode 4. Glad to be back and live on YouTube and Audible for all of you to hear. This is episode 4 featuring one and only MrYount franchise owned by Patrick Dingus. And if I do say so myself, we are probably the 2 most TV-friendly faces in the Dynasty League. So I'm glad we can brighten everyone's day by being live on YouTube.
No doubt.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome to the show. Happy to have you on.
Yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to be in the hot seat, ready for whatever's coming my way. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Of course, this is the MrYounts and one of the most legendary logos in the league, updated for 2020 to be a more current photo. Not sure how actually current it is, but the most current one we have on file at least. But anyway, before we get started with that, Patrick, I'd like to welcome you to the hot seat. I see you're wearing a cap and like a bit of a sweatshirt there, so it might get a little toasty for you, but hopefully you don't sweat too much. So anyway, welcome to the hot seat, and we'll go ahead and get started with the hot start. This is where you have 1 minute to just say whatever you want to the league. If you've got something to say to one of the owners in the league, let them hear it. If you got something to let the league know as a whole, this is your time. Have at it.
Sure. I'll keep this civil. I'd first like to apologize to the league for being a terrible trade partner. I have a tendency to overvalue my players quite a bit. You know what? Hey, what can you do? You don't get to a position like I'm at without doing that. But for whoever's asked to trade with me, I do apologize. I kind of suck, but you know what can you do? I'm not very good at texting back. You'll see times where I reply within 2 minutes and times where it takes me like 30 hours. But what can you do? That's the MrYount way, and I apologize.
Yeah, you know what? Like you're on your own time, and other people just need to deal with it. So I appreciate the sentiment coming out of the hot seat. Letting other owners know that you're not going to be pushed around in this league. So I like it. All right. Well, with that hot start, we'll move on to the Fast Five here, Patrick. Just like every other person who's been on this show, we're going to start off with your team name. So obviously I didn't go to Fort Zumwalt South Middle School, I believe is where this teacher is from. So tell me about MrYount. How did he come to be your team name? And also, does he even know that he's your team name?
Yeah, good questions all around. First of all, we need to put a little bit of respect on his name. He is a high school teacher for sophomores.
School. Sorry.
Yep. No, that's okay. So when this league first started, it was the year before we did Dynasty, and I got asked to join. And that was kind of where I met a lot of the guys like Scott and Shimu and Alex and all them. So that's kind of, it was kind of like a funny thing at the time, like, hey, like a lot of us have this teacher in common. Why not I just make that my team name? I think I am due for a little bit of a rebrand. It's been almost 8 years since I've been in his classroom, so I think it's getting a little stale, and I think it's getting a little weird. And as far as if he knows, absolutely not. That is not a conversation I want to have with another grown man, nor will he ever know. I hope so. I can't imagine getting merch with his name on it and then him possibly seeing that in public. So just to avoid that awkward conversation, he will never know.
Sounds good. I definitely think it's one of the most original team names in the league, and it's much better than other team names, at least like the Dynasty Champions, for example. At least it's not a lie. As your team name.
Yeah.
Anyway, so enough with the softball questions here. We're jumping right into some hot stuff. So for the second question, uh, I've heard from around the league that many owners often question the legitimacy of your team every year, only to be surprised every time. Is this a testament to good coaching of a seemingly below average team, or is it just pure luck?
Sure. Oh, and I think the people that are saying that are the same people that aren't even sniffing and not even tasting a shot at the championship game. I got to do that twice, unfortunately, losing both times. So, what does that really tell you? I think it's a little bit of both. I think anytime you win a fantasy championship, there is some luck involved. You got to be healthy, and your guys have to be who you thought they were going to be. But at the same time, it's I trusted in myself and I trusted my gut, and it got me to where I wanted to be. I will say there's probably not too many championship rosters out there that have Rashard Matthews as wide receiver one, but lucky for me, I got that good year for him. So if that's luck, then I'm more than okay with being lucky.
Rashad Matthews. Oh my goodness, what a name! I haven't heard that name in years. Takes a puff of a cigarette. Holy cow! Jeez, that's a blast. That's a blast from the past. All right. Well, you heard it here first, everybody. Stop underestimating Patrick's team. Um, he's always risen to the challenge every year. Looking at you again, Scott. Anyway, uh, so Patrick, you've had one first round pick since the league began, and it was a good one. You picked Josh Jacobs, so props to you for that. But do you think that only having one first round pick, has hurt your team as the years have gone on? Do you wish you would have kept them, or are you happy with the trades that you've made involving your first round picks?
I mean, hindsight is 2020. Of course, I would always like to have younger guys on my team that have a pretty high ceiling and they're pretty cheap. At the same time, I've been to the tippy top of the league for a few years there, so it's kind of hard to say I regret what happened. I would do it again if I tried. I'm batting 1,000 though, like you said, 1 for 1 on the picks. Doing a little bit better than Johnny. Yikes! But that's okay. Next year's my year.
Perfect. Yeah, you know what, Johnny, if you need some drafting tips from Patrick, his line's always open. He might not respond to you right away because he's doing other more important things. But if you need some drafting tips, just go ahead and hit Patrick up. He's batting 1,000 in the first round, so he's available.
Got that right.
Anyway, for the fourth question, I'm kind of curious as to what your plan for this year is moving forward. Obviously, you have 3 wins. You came very close to a 4th win last week, almost knocking off the Green Machine, and that would have caused some league drama. But considering that didn't happen, are you going to be tanking now, or are you just going to play it out? What's your goal here for this season and moving into next season?
Sure, yeah. Good question. Definitely not going to be tanking. I think that takes away from the integrity of the league. I'm always going to be starting the people I believe are best suited for the best week. Got a little bit of bad luck there with the quarterback situation that kind of put me behind the 8 ball. Luckily, I got my boy Jameis Winston going here the next couple of weeks, so may sneak off a win or two. May not be the best in the long run. That may move me down the draft board, but like I said, I'm always going to start the best players on the team that I feel like are going to have the best weeks. And if that gets me a win on accident, then so be it.
All right, I feel like that was a low key shot at me, but well received. And you know what? I'm happy to see
not you.
I'm happy to see famous Jameis back in a starting role. Though he made Chris Godwin look like a god last year, so I miss famous Jameis down there on the Bucs. Although Tom Brady's not too bad, so I'm looking forward to see if
I'd say so.
if famous Jameis Turnover Bakery is back this year, or if he's gonna be throwing some deep bombs to Michael Thomas or something. So hopefully it works out. All right, and now for the juiciest question of the Fast Five, who is your least favorite league owner, and why is it Scott?
How do I start?
Or maybe
First of all, the team name is an absolute joke. I don't know his highest finish off the top of my head. It couldn't have been higher than fourth. You could correct me if I'm wrong.
Sounds about right.
Yep. So a little weird. First of all, that absolute joke. Second of all, just the show, that so-called show he tried to do. Couldn't even last one season. Are you kidding me, Scott? Poor execution all around. I think that could have been done so much better. And the presentation with the show is not good, and that's why that's my least favorite show in the league.
Wow. Oh, okay. So when you were on his show 2 weeks ago, you said that it was the best show in the league. So you've changed your mind since then. Do you care to elaborate on that?
I don't think I said that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Scott, you are clearly hearing things in the night. Maybe like it was in that nightmare that you had last night, where your show got canceled. But Patrick does not like your show at all. In fact, he thinks it's the worst one in the league, and he's happy it got canceled. So, you know what? I'm happy to hear that, Patrick. That makes me feel good inside. Even if mine's not number one, that just makes me feel better knowing that I'm not last anymore. So good to know. And on that positive, happy note, we'll go ahead and move on to the guest pepper questions. And I would rather pick no other owner to start us off than the owner of the Dynasty Champions, Mr. Scott Hornung. And you know what? He actually sent this question in today, and I am so happy that he sent this question in, because the question is the Heroes Hot Seat still your least favorite show in this league's history, and is Deep Diving still number one? He sent that question in, and I'm so happy that you've already answered.
Yeah, that's an awful question. Scott, those words have never left my mouth. I think he's hearing things. If I remember right, I said this show right here is my favorite show, and then his show is my least favorite. And then anything you hear otherwise is completely fabricated. So that is just an awful all-around question.
This is what we like to see on this show. Just put this show on the map. It is the best show in the league. Ryan, you can be a nice number two, but this is the best show in the league, hands down. And Scott just couldn't compete with these two shows, and so he got canceled. So perfect. Anyway, moving on to Scott's second question. Who is your favorite league member in the league to trade with? Who's your favorite trading partner?
Honestly, not pump your tires even more than they need to be. Brendan, I think it's you. I think you probably, whenever you trade, you do like to give some pretty fair offers. You don't try to swindle anybody, at least from my experience. Whenever I traded with you, it's felt pretty fair and balanced versus other league owners. So I'll have to say you.
Thank you, Patrick. I appreciate that. And when we made that trade with Aaron Jones and the first round pick involved, when I made that, I knew that Jones was probably going to have at least one or two more good years, and it pained me to give him up. And I wish I had him right now, because I wouldn't have to have tanked if I had Aaron Jones, most likely. which is very frustrating. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Haskins didn't work out, but it is what it is, I guess. And I still had to draft well in order to make it happen. So yeah, I think at the time it was a pretty fair deal, and I pride myself in giving good trade offers. So if anybody in the league wants to try and say that I give bad offers, this is proof right here that I do not. So um, thank you for the compliment, Patrick. I appreciate it. My tires are well pumped at this point.
You are welcome.
All right. So then this is the last question from Scott, and I think it's a great question. If you were to win the championship in the future, Patrick, would you consider taking the trophy to MrYount's house and showing it to him?
Oh god. Absolutely. I would let his kids sleep with it in their beds if they really want to. But like I said, I'm due for a rebrand, so that championship would have to come within the next year or so. But simple answer, yes. I think MrYount is an integral part of this team, and he definitely earned it by just namesake.
I respect for that. He's been a part of your franchise for 2 championship runs. So if you were to win, let him enjoy the trophy with you. I
Yes.
like that. All right. So those are all of Scott's questions. We don't need to listen to him anymore for the rest of the night. So now we have 3 questions from Austin, and Austin just wants your thoughts on the most recent trade in the league, where he traded Cam Newton to the Beast for a first-round pick, and there was a couple other things sprinkled in there.
Yeah, let me pull it up here because I believe he got 2 first rounders out of that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he got Cam. Yeah, so he gave up Cam Newton, a second rounder, for 2 first round picks, and Eno Benjamin, which I guess is just a throw in. But good for Austin, to get 2 first rounders out of a very expensive quarterback. I think is a definite win, and Austin's pretty loaded at quarterback already. So, that's kind of, he did what he needed to do. He got probably the most value that he gotten out of Cam Newton, and who even knows where Cam Newton's going to be next year. So that's I'd say that's a win in my book.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it's a win for both teams. Mr. B is going for it this year. He needed the quarterback with Drew Brees going to be out for the next couple weeks here with like broken ribs and a collapsed lung. So, he's kind of scrambling for some quarterback help, and
Yeah.
Austin, had the depth to make it happen. And, he's getting rewarded for being prudent with his quarterback selections on his team and, hoarding them. So good for him. Good for Austin for getting those picks. He's not going to win this year, obviously. So you got to get what you can while you can. Yeah. And the Beasts were the best suitor he could find. So, I like it for both teams, but definitely for Austin long term. Sweet. All right. So this one you might not like very much from Austin. He says, I hear you like overpaying for Washington football team quarterbacks. Would you be interested in Alex Smith for 4 first rounders?
Considering his right leg kind of, is kind of barely salvageable at this point, Austin, I'll give you 3 for him and a kiss on the cheek. But I may have overpaid for Haskins. I'm still a believer. Saw every game he played at Ohio State, and I know that guy's in there. He just needs to get in the right situation. So we'll see who's laughing here in the next year or so.
Yeah, I guess you can't count out Haskins just yet. He's still got that first round draft capital, so he can make his way onto another squad, or maybe Washington gives him another shot or something. So you never know. He could bounce around and find his way onto a team that needs a quarterback. So hey, still could work out for you.
Yep.
All right, and then this last question you're not going to be a fan of. I'll just be straight up honest with you. It's also from Austin, but the catch is this is a video question, and it's not really even a question. He just wants you to watch a video. So I'm going to put this on the screen and press play. You're not going to like it, but just
Okay.
sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Sharon Reed with the strip and the recovery. The fight, you can see him right in the middle of your screen right here. He's blocked, and so it's the other defensive tackle just staying into the fight. And when Matthew Stafford starts to run,
Yeah, that sucks. Luckily, that's not the fumble. That's not the play that cost me my name on the trophy. But yeah, Austin, that really hurts, man. That does not bring back good memories.
I didn't want to do that to you, Patrick, but that's a scary memory, and you were that close to a championship. So I think Austin just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah.
Austin was just letting you know that that was he won that year. So. Oh, by the
Fair
way,
enough.
Austin is in the chat on YouTube Live, and he's saying that a kiss on the cheek is way more valuable than that extra first, so he'd be more than happy to do that trade.
Got that right, baby. My lips are gold.
I love it. All right, Patrick. So with that, we're going to go on to the heat check here. And so this topic I came with in advance. I thought we were going to have to settle this beef you had with my show. Because when you were on Deep Diving with the DCs, you basically said my show was the worst in the league and that Scott was the best. And I didn't take too kindly to those words. So I guess first of all, what made you change your mind? And why? Why'd you change your mind? What did it for you?
So I'm still pleading my innocence here. I'm pretty sure I never said anything of the sort.
Okay.
And I think if you go look back at any sort of video and you hear otherwise, the video's definitely been doctored and messed with. So, kind of at a loss for words here. I always, the hot seat's been number one in my book for forever.
Okay. That's a good point too. Even if the video might have showed something, the Deep Diving show was just so pixelated and awful that you probably couldn't have even heard anything or seen anything anyway. So, even if you did say that allegedly, there's no way anybody heard it. So, that kind of makes sense. There's no proof anywhere. So, I appreciate it. That's for sure. We'll move on from that a little bit. So let me ask you this: Why my show over Ryan's? What's the differentiating factor there? What did it for you to make me number one and Ryan number two? Because I agree with you, and the commissioner sucks. But what's your opinion?
I mean, just the presentation alone. I've got some flames over my head right here. You're not getting that on any other show. And just the intro itself, that's top notch there, man. It's got your own music, got a countdown, got the curtains to pull us in. That's not getting that on many YouTube fantasy football shows. So it's just the presentation alone.
I appreciate that. This a lot of work goes into this show. I just want the league to know that I probably put about 20 hours of prep into this show every week. I have a full-time job, but this show means so much to me that I'm willing to put in the work to make it the best one in this league. So just so everybody is aware, if you want to get on my level, you're going to have to start putting in at least 21 hours of work to even get close. So if you want to be the best, you gotta act like the best. And so I act like the best. And Scott couldn't hang, obviously, and his show was canceled. And Ryan Smith. Every week we see like pictures of bad quarterbacks, like Daniel Jones. He's basically a glorified running back that takes snaps. And then like Jared Goff, who's just the definition of an average quarterback. But he's in a big market, so he gets his tires pumped every week by the media. So Ryan wants to get on this level. He needs to step his game up. That's for sure. So I completely agree with you, Patrick, that the presentation of this show is second to none, and I take a lot of pride in that. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Well, that's it for the heat check, Patrick. Is there anything else that you need to say to the league right now? I know that you've taken a little bit of flack from like trades. Is there anything you need to like promote or anything? Like, you have any sponsors that you want to let the league know about? Anything like that? I'd like to pump your tires too. So if you've got something to say, like, now is the perfect time.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's actually funny you say that. I've actually been thinking about, starting my own show here in the league.
Really?
We're gonna call it the Cold Seat. It's gonna be where I invite people on, and we give each other compliments about everything that's going on in their life and all the great stuff they're doing. No tough questions, complete softball. We're just gonna give compliments to each other, and for a good half an hour, a good feel good session. I'm a big Patagonia fan, so Patagonia, if you're out there watching, feel free to sponsor my show. I wear your hats frequently, and clearly wearing your little sweater here, so feel free to sponsor me. But Cold Seat coming soon.
Perfect. You know what? With the Cold Seat, you should have like some cold brews with the show as well. Pop some cold brews in the Cold Seat back. Sit on some coolers or something. That'd be an awesome show. I think it would. Obviously, you got a tough bar to reach for number one, but I think you could definitely be number two at worst. I don't think it's that hard to be better than the Commissia show. So, I think you can definitely be the number two show in the league with the Cold Seat. And, if it's good, I mean, I'm going to have to step my game up. So I welcome the competition.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at finishing second, so that's right in my wheelhouse.
Perfect. Well, this has been episode 4 of the Heroes Hot Seat. I thought coming into this hot seat, I definitely thought it was going to be hotter than it was, because I really thought that Scott was telling me all these crazy lies about how you just hated my show. And I was coming into this prepared to defend my honor on this show. But I am very happy to know that you like this show. And I just want to let Scott know that you better not be coming at me with those lies anymore. Just lost a lot of trust tonight based on that. So
yeah, that guy's show's already canceled. So what does that tell you?
Right. Yeah. Good point, Patrick. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you being here. This has been my personal favorite episode of the Heroes Hot Seat. I think we found out a lot about your team. It wasn't as toasty as I would have liked. We weren't putting you like on the spot, but we found out a lot about your team. I'm happy to hear that MrYount will be seeing a trophy if you can win the championship in the near future. That warms my heart to know that you're just thinking about the kids, thinking about the families that would appreciate hoisting that trophy. It's good for the league to see that. So
yep, I will do whatever it takes to find his house. If everyone has a tip for me, feel free to send that my way.
Perfect. All right. Well, that'll conclude episode 4 of the Heroes Hot Seat. Note for next week, since it is Thanksgiving, the Heroes Hot Seat is going to be moving to Tuesday night, just to account for anybody that needs to like travel or prepare for Thanksgiving. I myself will be in a food coma on Thursday night, so I will not be doing the Heroes Hot Seat then. But I'm happy to report that the guest will be none other than the Mun Dynasty, Shinwoo Mun. Should be a good show, so tune in at 8 p.m.
Nice.
Tune in at 8 p.m. next Tuesday evening. Thanks for coming on, Patrick, and I will see you a bit later.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you later.
Yeah. See you, man.